So I'm Matt Allison. I work in the public policy team at Vodafone Group. As you know, we're a global network operator, and I have a number of policy areas that I look after, including artificial intelligence. And a big focus of the work that I've been doing since joining the company is developing both our internal but also our external narrative when it comes to responsible use of AI and the regulation that will shape that and how it's governed. We have a really well-established data analytics program and platform with in-house data scientists. And essentially what they do is to use anonymised and aggregate mobile network data to produce insights that can be used for a variety of societally useful purposes. One of the ones that we can reference most obviously is essentially giving information, real-time information, on how densely populated a given cell site is. This is a product that we offer on the market to both public and private sector customers, but we do make this tool available in exceptional circumstances to governments as well. One example of that that I can mention is during the COVID-19 pandemic, we made the tool available and we partnered with the European Commission Joint Research Centre, providing insights that allowed the policymaker to track the effectiveness of lockdown and to see the sort of flows of people between cities and within cities were reducing over time, to track the effectiveness of the public health measures they were putting in place. In terms of AI, the main applications that we have in Vodafone are within the network, where we use AI tools to route traffic more effectively and more efficiently, and to spot and resolve faults on the network as they occur. Essentially, the way that the AI machine learning tools work is to empower our network engineers and our employees to make better decisions, to have better visibility around what's happening on the network in real time, spotting concentrations, bottlenecks, clusters of traffic, grouping and resolving those faults so they can resolve them quicker and more effectively. And the impact for Vodafone is that we can run our network more efficiently. This has an impact as well on reducing the energy consumption across the network, which of course has environmental benefits, and we can offer a resilient and secure service to our customers. So I would say that governments and public sector bodies, in a wider sense, are using or looking to use AI in much the same way that the businesses and commercial operations are, which is to say improving their processes, optimising what they do, becoming more efficient, and using AI to crunch very large quantities of data that they can then use to derive insights which are kind of useful for lots of different social and economic purposes. Maybe a couple that I've mentioned in healthcare, AI is being used, for example, to spot and track changes in disease patterns and improve clinical outcomes. And in transportation as well, where city authorities, municipalities, local governments can use the types of big data analytics insights which I mentioned previously to plan where they need to invest, where infrastructure is required, and again kind of improve decision making. One additional example that I can mention that Vodafone has been involved in, a couple of years back we partnered with a company called Flowminder, and we used our big data analytics tools to help combat the spread of malaria in Mozambique. And this is just an example of some of the sort of societally impactful things that we can do with this technology. So Vodafone takes the challenges seriously around kind of AI governance, and we put in place a Vodafone AI framework in 2018. The framework is, I can say, a sort of high-level aspirational document that sets out how we look to deploy and use AI technology across our business. It has a number of core principles which roughly align and benchmark to international sort of norms and standards, so transparency, explainability, accountability and diversity for AI tools. And this is communicated across the business, and it indicates to external stakeholders as well that we are thinking about these things. I'd say the primary motivation and goal is to ensure that both our customers but also Vodafone employees are able to understand how and where AI is being deployed, and to be able to understand again and have redress if they feel like a decision is being taken about their lives which can impact their ability to be hired, to get access to credit, etc. And that's a really important sort of part of AI governance, I think. Internally, building on the AI framework, we have a set of governance principles which track to those core principles that I mentioned. This is communicated across the business, but with a particular focus on big data scientists and AI analytics teams. The opportunities are potentially limitless, I think, around AI technology. The challenges, particularly in my space as a sort of policy and regulatory professional, is that it is very difficult to legislate effectively around this fast-moving technology, and this is a problem that we see in the context of the EU's AI Act, which was published 2 years ago, and the negotiators have been working very diligently to get an agreement. But what we've seen is, even within that time, a quantum leap in terms of the sophistication of the AI tools and technologies that are available on the market. In particular, with natural language processing models like ChatGPT, which certainly didn't exist or weren't available to the extent they are now when the legislation was published. So this leads to another kind of rewriting and more drafts and iterations, and it just shows how difficult it is to put down hard and fast rules in this space. But if I did have a sort of call and encouragement, it would be to say we really do need the guardrails around AI technology, and absent agreement on legislation, which understandably takes time, there are other tools that you can put in place. So industry codes of conduct schemes and best practice. For example, there was a high-level expert group the European Commission appointed that developed a set of trustworthy AI governance principles. The OECD has a set of AI governance principles, and of course the GSMA has developed an AI ethics playbook, which is a great resource for operators to pick up and understand the types of questions and governance decisions they need to be considering. I think just a final point on sort of call to action for policymakers. I think we will get the AI regulation over the line fairly soon, but it's very important for us that we get back to the core principles, if you like, of the Commission's proposal, which is to take a risk-based approach and ensure that only those AI systems and applications that pose a genuine risk to human safety and well-being are categorised and regulated as high risk. If we do draw that threshold down too low, we are concerned there will be a knock-on impact on the adoption and ability of European businesses to actually deploy this stuff in the market, which will really set back EU AI development. And this is an area of technology that we want to lead. We don't want to be a follower when it comes to AI development. So Vodafone takes these challenges very seriously, and that's why in 2018 we published the Vodafone AI Framework, which is a high-level aspirational document which sets out how we want to deploy AI across our business and how we want to address the concerns that you've mentioned around trust. There are a number of core principles that underpin the AI framework: transparency, accountability, explainability, and diversity and inclusion. And with these principles, we think that we're able to at least kind of identify at a high level and address the concerns that arise with AI adoption. From a sort of end user or employee perspective, there are a number of things that are very important. Firstly, providing explainability, I think, allows individuals to have a sense of control and ownership over decisions that are taken about them and their lives, which is very important. The explainability and redress means that you can challenge where you think you need to challenge decisions that have been taken. And also identifying biases that exist. Now, it's impossible to completely eliminate bias in any human interaction, and the technology will, to some extent, map to those biases. But what we can do is spot where they occur, and when you're crunching huge amounts of data, you need to then try and limit that to the extent possible. So that's the Vodafone AI framework, which is available publicly. We also have a set of internal AI governance principles that map to the framework and allow us to demonstrate that we are living by those principles. And they're disseminated across the business, but with a particular focus and concentration on the data scientists and the colleagues working on machine learning applications and data science.